Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas, it's up for grabs now. Thomas.
Thierry Henry. He scored. He scored for Arsenal in the Bernabeu. It's only had a foot through by Steve Ball. Would you believe it?
Welcome back to the channel. I'm Big Gunner, and today we're going to be talking about Gabriel de Santos. It's just going to be a bit of an overview of the season I felt that he had last season, obviously. So before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I will be posting weekly videos of all different players, Arsenal transfers and match reviews and previews. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video once you finish watching. So we're just going to look at the stats, and first we're going to talk about his heading. He is our best header of the ball, but he only registered 59% of aerial duels, so he only won 59%, which, looking at some of the top centre backs in the league, he's quite a way behind them in terms of his aerial ability, but he is actually our best header of the ball. The next thing we're going to look at is interceptions and fouls per 90. Now he registers just over 1 interception per game. It's hard to kind of judge because he may not actually be in a position to intercept the ball depending on how the team plays, but in terms of the actual league, the numbers are roughly average, so it's something that we can hope that he continues into next season. And then fouls per 90 again is average, it's 1 foul per game. The types of fouls that he's doing is what I'm going to talk about a bit later. And talking about the aerial dominance again, the goals that he scored 2 goals last season, both headers, both quite important at the time. One was in the very first game against Fulham, so hopefully he can carry that into this season and get a few more goals. So yeah, again, 2 goals for a centre back isn't too shabby. So earlier we talked about fouls, and now we're going to get onto his weaknesses, where I feel that he needs to really improve on his game. This weakness is actually one of his strengths, but he needs to get it right. He needs to get a perfect mix. It's where he tries to nick the ball away from the attacker. He tries to get there first, but sometimes he's a bit hasty, so he ends up getting spun quite easily because he likes to be first and aggressive in the challenge, that if he does miss the ball, they spin away from him and they're gone. So just a quick example of this was the the Southampton game, where he tried to win the ball on the halfway line. He didn't win the ball, and Southampton broke. The ball got to Theo Walcott, and then he scored. And Gabriel, of course, was out of position as well, so he was obviously making 2 mistakes in one there. So that is definitely an improvement that we would want to see next season, is picking and choosing these battles in terms of when he wants to try nick the ball away, because obviously some players are more skillful, a lot quicker, and they will be able to get away from him, and he will not be able to get back in there and catch them. And again, from the same game against Southampton, tries to win the ball early from Theo Walcott because he senses that Theo Walcott has got a bit of pace. He just got booked a few minutes before, so making this challenge when he had a little bit of cover was quite silly. It was very minimal contact, but there was enough contact there to bring Theo Walcott down. Subsequently got double booked, so he was sent off, and obviously that didn't help us. So again, the weakness is trying to get into that attacker too early and getting spun, and then having to make a foul, and then getting bookings that are needless. Now talking about passing, this is another one of these. He's in between. It's a weakness. There are definitely sometimes it does come off for him and it gets us through on goal, but it's his long passing. The percentage was only 65.8 last season, and to around with some of the top centre backs like Diaz and Silva, that's nearly 20% lower than what they were achieving last season. So it's definitely a part of his game that he needs to improve. There were times where he was just kicking the ball out of play, or overhitting or underhitting passes. I remember in the Man City game, one of these underhit passes led to Man City breaking away and nearly scoring. So it's something that he definitely needs to work on, but when it does work, it got us through a couple of chances when he got the ball over to Aubameyang and Kieran Tierney and they broke into the box. So it's just something he needs to be wary of, but again, there were improvements towards the end of the season with his passing range. Now, getting onto his strengths, it's defending the front post, and this example is of a 1-2 Matic plays and he's almost through on goal. Gabriel's actually marking Cavani, but he senses the danger at the near post and gets across to put in a great challenge on Matic. Again, as I mentioned earlier, one of his weaknesses are actually his strength, and that's being aggressive in the challenge and nicking the ball away from the attacker. But again, it's all about picking and choosing which attackers you can do it to, because you will get spun by the better, more skillful ones. But here, Rashford on the halfway line, ball's played into him, but Gabriel reads it and wins the ball off him and then starts an attack. And another example in the Spurs game, Lucas Moura, he wins the ball off him and then dribbles past 2 players and then gets us on the front foot and starts another attack, which obviously for a centre back that is very helpful if he can step into midfield and make an extra player in midfield, but can also alleviate the pressure on his defence. As we can see from the photo, his recovery pace is very, very crucial. Zaha actually gets away from him, gets like a 5, nearly 10 yard head start on him, but Gabriel gets back in there, lets him get into the box, then robs the ball off him and then just comes away with the ball and starts an attack. So yeah, that was just a brief overview of Gabriel this season, his strengths and his weaknesses. I really liked Gabriel. It was something different, something that we hadn't seen for a while from a defender in an Arsenal shirt. Him and Kieran Tierney have been welcome additions on that left-hand side. So hopefully they can continue to build a connection, get more games together this season, because obviously they were both out with injuries at various times of the season. Gabriel obviously had COVID, and when he came back didn't quite look the same. So hopefully he can build on last season. If I was to give him a rating, I'm tossing up between 6.5 and 7. Obviously he only made 22 or 23 league appearances this season, which obviously works out to nearly half. So definitely, if he can get more consistent game time this season, I do think he will go from strength to strength and be quite a vital player for Arsenal this season. So thank you for watching. I'm Big Gunner. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because as I said earlier, we'll be doing weekly videos, match previews and reviews, player transfers and scout reports. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also like this video, and see you all soon.